this is Kelly Williams, and I just want to do a quick video today on sitting and low back discomfort. I know a lot of us are sitting more of late, and I'm hearing kind of through the grapevine and talking to clients that they're just getting a little bit more stiffness and discomfort in their low back when they're sitting. So I'm going to go over flat back, which is something that we talked about in the webinar earlier this week, and how you can actually stretch to alleviate that, because what I see a lot of people doing is they're feeling low back discomfort, they're being proactive about it, which is great, they're stretching, but they're not exactly getting the stretch in the right position so they can actually get the benefits of it. So we're going to talk about flat back when you're sitting, what it looks like, and then the right stretch to actually do to help alleviate it so you can get on with your day. So a review from the webinar, right, when we're talking about our flat back, that means that our tailbone right down here, right, is actually going to be flattening. So it kind of goes forward and down, and the front side of your pelvis comes up and back, kind of causing a shortening through here, and that flattens the low back here. And so a lot of people think that when they're feeling low back discomfort, that is because they're doing this, but a lot of times it's because we're flattening it as we sit. So I'm going to demo here on my roller. So I'm sitting with my tailbone lifted and my back is in my neutral curve. And when I sit for long periods of time and I'm typing, and most of us don't sit on a phone roller, we're usually sitting on a chair or we're sitting on a stool or wherever we're sitting at home, maybe even a couch, we start to get that slump through here and through here. So let me show you that again. So the rib cage starts to come down, and then the tailbone starts to roll back and we start to flat. So we kind of end up in this rounded forward posture that's really flattening my back. So I want you to watch this part of me real quick. I'm going to lift and then lift the tailbone. So now I'm seated in anterior tilt, and then I'm going to sink into it and flatten my back. So with this posture, with a lot of flat back posture, this is actually really stretching these muscles that attach right here in the back. So when you're stretching this area out, a lot of people tend to want to do this. That's not exactly going to be helping that area. And let me show you a stretch that will help, but let me show you the right way to do it as well. Okay guys, so we're going to come down onto our back, and we're going to come into a very common figure 4 stretch. This is a great stretch for hips, low back, glutes to release, but a lot of people are so tight back here that they don't necessarily get the benefits from it. So I'm going to show you a few different angles. So I'm going to bring my right ankle in front of my left knee. I'm going to lift my left leg to bring it in. So right now, when I lift that left leg, I'm starting to press my low back into the mat. So that flattening that I was doing with my sitting, because here's me arching my back, and then flattening it. When I flatten it to come into this stretch, I'm not helping alleviate that area, because remember, that's what was going on, right? Rounding and flattening it, and then if I come into that position on my back to try to stretch with the figure 4, I'm not necessarily getting that benefit. So there's 2 things I would recommend to help alleviate that low back discomfort with your figure 4 stretch, which is a great stretch. You just need to make sure that you're not compounding the issue when you're actually practicing it. So there's 2 steps. 1, when you come into your figure 4, start here, right? Just come into that 4, check that low back, and make sure that you've got that neutral curve. So that doesn't mean overarching, right? Not flattening. You're coming into that neutral curve that feels good on your low back. Your abs have to engage to keep that arch lifted up, and then you're going to slowly lift that left leg up. Now, right now, you can see I've still got my arch. We bring this arm up. I've still got that arch right until about here. Now I'm starting to flatten my back. So your option when you get to this flat back pose is to readjust, relift that low back into that natural arch, or option 2, stay in that lower position and just slowly start to bring that leg in. This might be enough of a stretch, especially if you can kind of push that right knee away to get into the glutes and low back without having to compress the low back. Another option is to bring your feet up onto a wall or something. So here's what you gotta make sure you're doing, right? So we're watching the low back curve here. I can get my feet up onto this chair, onto a wall, so I can keep that curve. Let me scoot a little bit closer though. All right. Now I got my feet up here. I'm going to take that right ankle and I'm gonna, let this knee push away. I want to get close enough to the wall where I can keep this low back curve, that arch here, without compressing it or without lifting the hips up. Because a lot of people that do this stretch against the wall, when we switch legs, but they get so close to the wall so they can get a deep stretch here, but their hips are up off of the wall because they're so tight through here. And if my hips are lifting, what do you think they're doing? They're rolling back and they're flattening. So the key of your figure 4 stretch is to really be able to maintain that the neutral low curve here, so that hip, the glutes, are actually getting that stretch. So again, option 1 is start with your 4. Just start here, check in with that low back. Lift that left leg nice and slow, monitoring this, making sure that you can keep that low back curve and arch. Then holding the stretch here versus sinking into it and flattening the back. If you don't have this kind of hip range of motion, option 2 is you can come into here and push that knee away. Sometimes that's enough stretch that helps you maintain that curve. Option 3 is going to bring your feet up against a wall or something sturdy. You want to be able to scoot your hips in close enough to where the back of the hips are on the mat. And when you come into that 4, you're feeling the stretch through here, but not to the point where you're lifting your hips up and you're able to maintain that low back arch. Thanks guys for watching. I hope this gives you some low back relief while you're at home or spending more time seated. Be productive, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time.